What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. Before I get into this video, I want to remind you guys, as always, if you want to donate to my channel, you can do so in the links provided in the description box below. Also, you can see in the description box I have created a Patreon where I can be able to talk about things more uncensored and unfiltered in a way that I cannot do on YouTube. And you can subscribe to my Patreon for the very low price of only $2 per month. And I will be talking about LeBron on my Patreon, and I've already have content on there already. So yeah, that's pretty much all I want to tell you about that. Now I want to talk about LeBron James one more time because um, there's just some stuff out there that really just makes me shake my head in disbelief, man. Whenever I see people, right, I look at videos out there on YouTube for the most part, and I see people say the same things about LeBron James. They say he's an attention seeker. He's a hot dog. He thinks it's all about him. He's narcissistic. He's all of these things. Well, yeah, he is. Okay? I think even his most ardent supporters will tell you that. So what's new? If you know that he's like this, okay, then why are you surprised if he dunked the basketball? If you know that he's this, right? Then why are you surprised that he did what he did? Even if you look at it like that, right? I I can see you going all off if he's just dunking. He's doing some fucking all-star game shit. Dunking from the free throw line, windmill 360. You know, cocking that bitch back, some Dr. J, Connie Hawkins shit. If he was doing some stuff like that, then I can understand you guys being like, man, what the hell, man, with this dude? But he's at his son's Bronny's AAU game where he's coaching, and I think some of you guys lose sight of that. Where he's coaching, and there's the layup drill, and he dunks, and I strongly expect that the crowd, who were made up mostly of young people, wanted him to do that, and he gave the kids there a lasting memory. Okay, I remember when I was in high school. Jesse Jackson came. I think it was 1995. Jesse Jackson came. Yeah, because it was around the time of the O.J. Simpson verdict, if I'm not mistaken. So I think it was like beginning of 95, 96 school year. Jesse Jackson came and spoke at our high school. And I remember a lot of us. See, this is the funny thing about that. This was a time when I would say a lot of black youth were starting to come out of that period of political activism, and we were starting to become stupid. You know what I'm saying? Like, had Jesse Jackson visited a high school like 5 years earlier, it would have been like unbelievable. Like the response, because just 2 years earlier he was a presidential candidate. You know what I'm saying? Well, he was an aspiring presidential candidate. He was trying to go to he was in the primaries and he was going up against what Gore and Richard Gephardt and Dukakis, who was eventually not the nominee. But what was kind of embarrassing to me was the way that my peers were responding to Jesse Jackson. Like, they basically were making like we were. I wasn't doing it, but collectively we was kind of making fun of him and shit. Like with the way that he was portrayed in the media. Well, I think that we need to jobatize and deputize and homogenize our community. I think that we were just making fun of him and shit. And as I got a little older, I'm like, what was that about? Because we were taught to ridicule our own heroes. Now, be as it may, I have my issues with Jesse Jackson. I have a lot of issues with him. And you guys can tell me about Jesse Jackson comments. I've heard all about that shit. I've heard all about the theories with the CIA and all that shit. Okay, but at the same time, we're still taught to make fun of all of our heroes, man. All of our black prominent Americans, and the same thing is going true with LeBron James, in my opinion, man. Like, yeah, I have my issues with him on the court. Okay, as a basketball fan, I have my issues with him as a basketball player sometimes, but as a person, no, no. All these things that people are talking about. Okay, a lot of people are like that. Dr. King was thought of as narcissistic. Who cares? Malcolm X used to be a criminal. Who cares? I don't care about that shit. In fact, man, sometimes I think some of these LeBron haters in the comment section, I question whether some of these guys are even one of us. Because it can get kind of, you know, as many people who look like us, and I think most of my subscribers look like me, and I know some of them aren't, but as many of us who look like us who criticize LeBron, these guys can get lost. These people who dislike LeBron for other reasons rather than what the ones that we might have issues with him. You know what I'm saying? They don't like him for other reasons. They don't like him for reasons that Trump and his supporters may not like him. Because you gotta remember, LeBron has come out against Trump. So he's already built another group that goes against him. So it's hard for me to distinguish who's a LeBron critic from a LeBron hater to a repugnant LeBron hater, a Fox News LeBron hater. You know what I'm saying? I just can't help but think that this stuff goes back to what I was talking about with the hoodie shit, man. If you don't know who LeBron James was, if he wasn't a multi-millionaire basketball icon, if you put him in a hoodie, you put Russell Westbrook, if he wasn't an all-star player, if you put him in a hoodie, right, and you're in a gas station at 3 o'clock in the morning, and you see these guys standing in the gas station, you're gonna feel a certain way. But if you put Klay Thompson, you put Steph Curry in a hoodie, and you're in the gas station 3 o'clock in the morning, you see them, you're not going to feel as threatened. And we all know why. Okay? We all know the real reason why. But to add on to it, as far as the way the media portrays these guys, Steph Curry does a lot of theatrics in the game sometimes. He does a lot of those dances and shimmies and stuff when they were up by 15 or 20 points during their little run recently. And it's looked at differently than when LeBron does things. When LeBron does certain things, pats himself on the chest or beats himself on the chest, he's showboating. When Steph Curry does the same thing, oh, it's just in good fun. It's just in good fun, guys. It's just in good fun. Curry and Klay Thompson, they come from NBA pedigree. Both their parents played in the NBA. Michael Thompson, of course, Klay's father was on the champion Lakers team, Showtime teams in the 80s. Both of these guys are more Bel Air than anything. Russell, LeBron, they came from the struggle. They worked to where they had to get. They worked to get to where they. I'm not saying that Steph Curry and Klay Thompson didn't work. to get to where they are. But for LeBron and guys like Russell Westbrook and 90% of the NBA, they had to work hard to get to where they are. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler was homeless. So Jimmy Butler worked harder than anybody. That's why when Jimmy Butler was with the Bulls and they was running his ass to the ground, he didn't care because he was glad to be in the NBA. He wasn't one of these pampered athletes. Well, my workload management shows I only have to play. Look, they come up with a plan. I'm only going to play 34 minutes per game. I'm only going to play 60 games, a season. I mean, that's my stipulated workload. And people can talk about LeBron, but LeBron can do that. You know what I'm saying? LeBron has played to a point where he can have a workload management. Even though I don't agree with the shit, but at least he's played long enough where he can earn that. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I just don't get it, man. I don't understand the hatred that this guy gets. Him, Westbrook, some of it's racial. I'm sorry. I know that sounds stupid. You know what I'm saying? Some people are like, how can it be racial? Some of it is racial. Some of it is racial because there's no way in the world that these guys, one of them, a three-time NBA champion, okay, one of the greatest players in the history of NBA, arguably top 5. I have him just outside of my top 10, top 11, okay, all-time players. The other one, a triple-double machine, tied for second all-time in triple-doubles with the great Magic Johnson, all right? Second only Oscar Robertson. Only the second man to have a season averaging a triple-double. The only man to do it for 3 individual seasons. And they are both the 2 most hated NBA players probably in the history of the league. Okay? 2 of the most accomplished players in the NBA are 2 of the most hated. Then there's James Harden, who I've been critical of. Think about it. The 4 most accomplished players in the NBA are probably the 4 most hated players in the NBA. LeBron James, Russell Westbrook, James Harden, Kevin Durant. But a guy like Gordon Hayward, who plays like absolute shit on the court now, on the court. Gordon Hayward plays like shit on the court. And only maybe 2 or 3 people on YouTube critique him. And then we're told, hey man, you're being kind of hard on Gordon Hayward. There's something wrong there. Do you try to tell me it's not at least a racial element to it? I don't want to hear no more about that goddamn leg, man. That shit was 2 years ago. If he plays like shit this year, I don't want to hear shit about that leg, man. But yeah, there's something to it, man. There's something to it. There's something. It almost makes me want to just root for LeBron James, just for the sake of it, man. Because there's something deeper there. There's something more pathological with LeBron haters. Like I see what some people are talking about now with the LeBron haters. This guy's coaching his son. His son. What are you talking about? What are you dudes talking about? I just don't get it. Oh man, he's acting like a fool, you know. He's what are you? Shut up! Just shut up, man. Just shut up. The little boy's coming out of him, man. You guys have no fucking. Some of you dudes are just fucking miserable fucking people, man. Miserable. Have no fucking funny. You have no joy in your life, man. Just miserable ass motherfuckers, man. Just go around just looking for shit to hate on. Nigga Russell Westbrook. Shit, he you know. I mean, yeah, he getting triple doubles, but what they doing? They ain't doing shit. I mean, ain't like they, ain't like they winning. He grabbing the motherfuckers from the center. I don't know, man. But then these dudes praise Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Call him the best quarterback ever. These guys praise Aaron Rodgers, and I don't know, man. I don't know what's up with some of you dudes, man. Not to say they're not great quarterbacks, man, but I don't get it. I don't get it with some of these dudes, man. I would think in a situation like this, most people be like, look, I don't like LeBron James, but this is some bullshit. Nope. Not some of these dudes. Some of these dudes, man, LeBron James could probably be in a situation where he talks a little boy, he could talk a little white boy off of jumping off a ledge, and motherfuckers will say, "Oh man, he had that. He planted that shit, man. He just trying to get some positive press, man. You know what I'm saying? He saw a little white boy up there. You know what I'm saying? He did that shit as a publicity stunt. He trying to get some positive press. That's all. That's the only reason why he did it. Man, shut up, man. You just go fucking slit your own throat somewhere, man. You fucking miserable.